The path to true happiness. True happiness didn't fall into my lap. It cracked me open. It started with a spiritual awakening that pulled the rug out from under everything I thought that I knew. Hi friends, I'm Scott. I welcome you to be one with me as we journey together to be the best we can. I was living a good life on the outside, but deep down something wasn't lining up. I wasn't miserable, but I wasn't fulfilled either. I had stuff and I had success, but there was this quiet voice in me asking, is this all there is? That's when it hit me. Happiness isn't something you chase. It's something you uncover. And it doesn't come from adding more to your life, but from peeling back what's not aligned with your soul. So I started doing the deep inner work. I stopped looking out there for answers and started looking within. I realized happiness had to come from inside. That it wasn't having more, but it was about being more present, more connected, more real. As I grew, I got to this place where life became about more than just me. I started helping others who were asking the same questions. I shared my story, my struggles, my healing. I poured into my physical health and cleaned up my relationships, redefined what success meant, and focused on alignment, not achievement. I began seeing happiness as something way bigger than pleasure or comfort. You know, it became a spiritual practice, a way of living with purpose, presence, and power. I also started noticing a massive shift happening in the world. People waking up, questioning everything, searching for deeper and deeper meaning. This isn't about religion versus spirituality. This is about truth. It's about finding common threads that run through the Tao, the Bible, the Gitas, Buddhist teachings, and modern thought leaders. They're all pointing. They're all pointing in the same direction. You know, wake up, live consciously, become who you were always meant to be. Meditation, breathwork, journaling, reading, deep reflection. I threw myself into all of it. I started asking better questions like, what does it mean to live in oneness? How do we create from stillness? You know? How do we live with virtue, with clarity, with purpose? And what if the universe really does have our back? You know, the more I leaned in, the more I knew that I had to simplify and share what I found. No fluff, no fake guru talk, no filler, just straight up truth in real relatable language. That's what my videos are about. Each one is a tool, a reminder, a call back to yourself. These aren't just ideas to watch, they're practices to live. Meditation, yeah. Meditate on them, question them, talk about them, try them. True happiness is found in motion, in becoming, not in the having, but in the becoming. Here's what I believe. We've always been chasing happiness, not realizing it's been with us all along. Kids know this. They're not weighed down by shoulds and expectations. They're just in it, learning, playing, growing. Happiness flows naturally when we're aligned with our path. As we get older, we start chasing outcomes instead of honoring the process. But the real joy, it's in the becoming who we're meant to be. True happiness isn't just about feeling good, it's about doing what matters. Living with intention, creating with love, moving towards something meaningful. That's when we feel truly alive. So yeah, I want to be that person. The one who's rooted, rising, and real. The one who's not just seeking happiness, but living it. And since you're watching this, maybe you do too. So let's walk this together. Not perfect, just present. Fully here, fully alive. True happiness is something I've chased for most of my life. For a long time, I thought that I struggled to find it. But in truth, I had experienced it. I just didn't recognize what it was. Sure, I laughed, smiled, and had a good time. But what was that? The deep, lasting happiness I was searching for? Looking back, most of those moments were just distractions. What I now call passive happiness. They kept me from facing the absence of true happiness in my life. It wasn't until I sat down and got real with myself and defined what true happiness meant to me that things began to shift. Before that, I was in an endless loop, chasing things I thought would make me happy, never realizing that the small, meaningful actions done with purpose could unlock the state that I was craving. I tried everything, drinking, drugs, self-medicating, including antidepressants from doctors. I turned to adrenaline sports, sex, spending money, vacations, and escapism. It gave me a rush, or numbed the pain. I chased it. I'm sure those things brought moments of pleasure, but emptiness always came. It always came back. I'd find myself wanting more, always looking for the next hit of satisfaction, and it never lasted. So why the fixation on true happiness? Because I believe that's what we're all ultimately looking for. Not temporary highs followed by deep lows, but a lasting peace. And that kind of happiness comes from within. It's about knowing who you are, what you value, and your actions with that truth. Here's what I've come to understand. We all want to feel good without the crash that follows. True happiness lets us fully experience and enjoy life. The only things that we truly control are our thoughts and our actions. When we get clear about what we want, whether in our relationships or the things that we pursue, we start making choices that move us toward what really matters. That's where true happiness lives. The shift began when I started to surrender to something bigger than myself. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, oh, great, here comes another God speech, hear me out. I wrestled with the idea of God. I wrestled with it too. I couldn't buy into the image of some old man in the sky, waiting to zap me for messing up or keep me out of heaven for not checking the right boxes. That didn't work for me. What did work was redefining God as good, orderly direction. It's changed since then, but that gave me the framework I could live with, a guide for spiritual alignment without the dogma, Through that lens, I started seeing life different. This isn't about religion. It's rooted in spiritual principles. Oneness, connection, and inner alignment. Inner alignment that helps us take actions that lead to a more fulfilling life. I believe you don't need to share my beliefs or have an idea of God to discover true happiness, to really understand this path. It helps to know a bit about where I've been. Like everyone else, I've made my share of mistakes and still do. But they are nothing like the ones I made in the past. I have also done a lot of things right. I've loved deeply and valued the people in my life. But back then, I didn't really understand what love looked like in action. I'd say I love you, but my behavior didn't always reflect it. I wasn't showing up in the way that the people around me deserved. I learned that love, like happiness, isn't just about words. It's about action. The same goes with our relationship with things. Just owning something doesn't mean you value it. It's the pursuit, the intention behind it that gave it meaning or gives it meaning. When we invest time, thought, and care into into something, we appreciate it more. That's a reflection of how we experience happiness. Not just the having, but the becoming. My spiritual transformation began while working through a 12-step program. I realized I had to adapt it to fit my beliefs, but I'm forever grateful for the people that introduced it to me. That program got me my life back. I wasn't using drugs or alcohol anymore, but I was still seeking escape from my life, my feelings, and from myself. I didn't want to be who I was anymore. I knew that if I didn't change, I'd fall back into my old patterns. So I committed to it. I took it one day at a time. I started doing the small things that kept me grounded and growing. Over time, those small actions started adding up. I still wasn't the person I wanted to be, but I was becoming him. You know, that progress alone made me happy. It gave me a taste of what I've been searching for all along. I also reframed the idea of powerlessness. To me, it's not about giving up responsibility or waiting for a higher power to fix things. It's about recognizing that with connection to something greater, we're disconnected without being, how do I want to put that? It's about recognizing that without something greater, we're disconnected from the source of our own strength. Acceptance of what I can control. Anyway, my thoughts, my actions, that's where my power lives. You know, practicing the principles of honesty, willingness, and tolerance changed everything. I faced what I couldn't control. I made peace with my past. I started living in the now. I took responsibility for my part in every situation, whether it brought joy or suffering. That shift in mindset completely changed the way I show up in the world. Living one day at a time became more than just a recovery slogan. You know, it became my reality. I slowed down. I turned inward and through meditation and stillness, I met my true self. You know, I discovered that happiness isn't about getting everything you want. It's about realizing that you already have everything that you need. That was the breakthrough. That was the message I want to share. True happiness is a state of being rooted in purpose and presence and progress. I broke it down to simple framework so I could live by it and pass it on. My videos are a result of that journey. Help get this message to others. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, and let me know about. Let me know in the comments about your view on true happiness. For more content about mind, body, and spirit, visit beonewithme.com and check out one of these other videos. More is coming from the heart for the soul. And remember, a smile can make someone's day, and the right words may change their life. I love you, truly. Be you. Be one with me.